And I've always had an affinity to the formula. So I got together with a good friend of mine, Scott Mock, and we put together a little bit of a game plan. And I think we're going to have a real serious contender here at the Optima with this little blue bomb.
When he first called and he wanted me to build front and rear suspension for the car. Brought the car down, kind of got started, doing a little bit of work, and then saw my car right after paint shop, and he goes, man, this looks awesome. He goes, would you think about finishing the car for me? And I said, yeah, we'll talk about it. And then he called about 6.5, 7 weeks ago and said that, was there any way we could get this car done for SEMA? And I said, well, we need a motor, we need paint, if we can get all the parts, we'll sure give it our best shot.
Scott has done some really wonderful things with suspension design and has worked with great people like Brett Vocal of Ride Tech and Kyle Tucker of DSE. So that sort of made me lean in the direction of having Scott build us a car.
I started my business in '84 in Lawrence as a regular welding and machine shop, and I always did the hot rod stuff as a hobby, but I never made any money with it, didn't really try to. And I sat down and I bought some components and I bought some software for the computer and kind of designed my own subframe. But I really enjoy building my own stuff and building it a little bit different than everybody else. I sat back at the end of the day and I built it. It makes me feel good, and I never try to compete with anybody. I just enjoy building my own stuff. And I built some slip-in mufflers that slide right in the 3-inch tube, and then we send all the exhaust off to Jet Hot, and they did a fabulous job inside and out coating the pipes. I'd had some ceramic coating done locally, and all they did was kind of sugar coat the outside, and the first time I scratched it with a wrench, the coating came right off. This Jet Hot stuff is just phenomenal. It's on there, it's baked on. You hit it with a hammer, it doesn't come off, it doesn't burn off. It really keeps the heat inside the tube and out back the exhaust. The floor pan didn't get hot tonight when they were in the car dynoing it. I think it was money well spent.
I always wanted to have that sort of car that you really thrashed on to do for SEMA. In life you better be careful what you wish for. I'm telling you, because every time you turn around, you need things shipped, red label, overnight, gotta be here. The littlest thing can throw you off. If you have a year to build a car, that's one thing. But when you have 2 months and you want to have something that you can be proud of, that's a SEMA thrash. We have done what others said could not be done.
I have 7 more days to finish the car, loaded on the trailer so Albert can get to SEMA. We have to hang the fenders, nose, the grill, all the headlights, finish all the wiring for the headlights, the hood, inner fenders, finish the wiring in the trunk, the tail lights. We got a carpet, dash, seats, back seat, headliner, A-pillar covers, door panels, rear armrest covers. Basically the whole interior's got to be put in it. And then all the front carbon fiber pieces and fenders and things.
This car will be showcasing our carbon doors and carbon fenders and carbon nose. Anvil Auto has done some carbon products for this car. We worked with Dave from Forge Line and went with his center lug pattern on this set of wheels that are absolutely stunning on this vehicle. We went with Chaffee Kiesler's T56 Magnum transmission. Frank from Prodigy built a supercharged LS3 motor, and we supported Bear Brakes in this particular build, given the quality of their products. Spectra provided us our cooled air intake needs, and they've always been an outstanding product, so we put it in use again. And American Auto Wire did a beautiful harness for us. Ride Tech, we sat down with Brett, discussed the build, discussed the weights, discussed the application, and he came up with a perfect solution.
The best thing you can do, I think, as a builder, or I'm finding out, is trying to be a car builder, is aligning yourselves with good companies that when you want to order a component, they have it in stock, they get it out, they get it shipped when they say they're going to get it shipped. So if you're on a time constraint like Albert and I are with this build and trying to make the SEMA show, you call them up, you say, I need component A, B, and C, and they say, hey, we got them on the shelf. and they get them shipped that day or the next day. They don't fool around, they get them right out. So I just called up Ride Tech and had them send me out one of their 4-link kits. And in 3 or 4 hours, I had the thing totally in. It fit perfect. It came with everything you needed. It was what I thought was very inexpensive. If I sat down and bought all the components and I built it all, I was only going to save myself a couple $100. Instead of spending 2.5 days building one that I built like my orange car, you know, in half a day I had it done, it was in, and we don't have to do any seat modifications to put the Ride Tech in. And since we're on such a time crunch, that was a big important aspect too. The components are just awesome. The shocks are just fabulous. They're a work of art. Probably the best money for the average car guy. You cannot get a better shock than Ride Tech's new coilover shocks. They absolutely fit. They come with all the components you need, the spacers. If you buy the triple adjustables, you get the reservoir mounts. You're not calling somebody else buying those. I mean, it's a complete package that just works really well, and it's very good money well spent.
I think this car is going to be a hell of a SEMA car this year. It's going to be up against some very stiff competition and some wonderful cars. But I think this guy's got what it takes to really kind of be there with the best of them and really dance at the dance.
I think these cars are naturally, the second-gen Firebirds are a little heavier than the Camaros, especially in the nose area. And that's where you need to take the weight off if you want the cars to drive really well, you know, just to handle good. You need to get the car really balanced. And the best thing to do is to start at the nose and start taking weight off the nose. Albert has stepped on board with his company and is building some really cool fenders and doors and other components, and it's going to kind of make it neat in hot rod world.
Combined with the yellow Warpath car coming out in 2012, I feel we have 2 test beds that will tell us all we need to know about the Firebird 2nd Gen chassis on an ongoing basis. So we've been fortunate enough to build these cars, and we're going to thrash them, and we're going to intentionally try and break them if we can, because if we can break them, we can avoid you breaking them. And that's why we build these cars, so that they're out there, thrashed, and tested in the real world. You can have all the engineers in the world tell you what'll work in a computer model. The real world will usually tell you something a little bit different here or there. Well, we're trying to cover both bases. We're talking with engineers, we're talking with industry professionals, and we're testing with our own cars on an ongoing basis.